want to start just by, before I turn a question to finance officials, just bewildered by some of the testimony we've heard from the finance minister today. Her claim is that this project is about economic reconciliation. When we had the spokesperson for the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, whose community is directly affected by the pipeline, he called it economic smallpox. We just heard our finance minister brag about how the leader of the Conservative Party of Alberta supports the project, when her party just passed a motion days ago questioning the most basic climate science about whether carbon pollution even contributes to the crisis that we are in. We also had the finance minister tell us that this is a pipeline. A pipeline that's going to add 84 megatons of emissions that is going to transition us to green energy. It feels like I'm in 1984. What we didn't hear is the reality that this pipeline is going to further cause our global emissions to continue to rise when they're already hundreds of megatons ahead of our domestic emissions. What we didn't hear is that the UN Secretary General has already told us that investing in new fossil fuel infrastructure at this stage of the crisis is both moral and economic madness. And it's that point that I want to ask finance officials about, because we've yet to hear an answer on how many years would be required for this pipeline to operate, separate from our children's future, the health risk of spills, the interests of First Nations. Even if we just look at, which to me is absurd to begin with, but if we even just look at the finance implications, media have been asking finance officials how many years the pipeline would need to operate for. PBO tells us it's unrealistic, the 100 years that are being put forward. Their view is that a pipeline only operates for 40 years. Can finance officials tell us how many years does this pipeline need to operate for it to be commercially viable?
Thank you for the question. I mean, I wish I had a direct answer, but let me try and unpack.
I only have 10 seconds left, so if there's no direct answer, can finance submit to this committee an answer to the question, specifically how many years the project needs to be viable for, and can I ask that to be submitted within a week?
Sure, I would just say that an asset can be commercially viable while it holds debt, as long as that debt can be serviced through the revenues. And there are cash flows we project that will be generated from the pipeline that will be able to operate, service the debt, and pay down the debt.